was made crystal clear to me the day I came across the quarterdeck at Buds that we don't want lieutenants as new guys in the SEAL teams. We want lieutenants to already have 1, 2, or 3 platoons under their belt and be platoon OICs, or officers in charge.
Hi, this is your Project Management Cowboy coming right back to you with another exciting podcast. One of the missions of our podcast is to go through the world and invite guests that have specialty knowledge. We're very, very excited in this podcast to introduce to you a guest, which we're very, very honored that he took the time out of his day to meet with us, Captain John Doolittle. Hi, John.
Hey, Mark. How are you?
We'll introduce him a little bit. Now, this could be the classical clickbait. All you have to do nowadays is say Navy SEAL, and everybody's watching your YouTube videos. Okay, there's all sorts of wonderful Navy SEALs out there whose service we can be very proud of. But one of the things I always think when I listen to these podcasters is, where's the management magic? And I'm so happy that we have a guest that's an officer. So let's jump right in. Hi, John. Welcome on board.
Hey, Mark. Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Your title is Captain. For those of you who are not from the Navy, let's clarify what is the equivalent rank in the other services.
So in the Navy, Captain is an 06, which is equivalent to a colonel in the Army, a full bird colonel.
Full bird.
Right.
Now, for those of you civilians out there who don't know, what does that mean? If you were to put that into management context, that's like a senior vice president, because it's one rank below general. Okay. General is when you get into the executive level. So, and I think another thing that we need to stress here, when you have a pretty much exclusively special ops background. When you take that into consideration, your rank is right up there. There's very few that I know from a special ops area that actually get above the rank of captain on a U.S. Army level. Okay, so we really have the benefit of talking to somebody who understands large systems, the military itself, and special teams. Okay. Now, we've had a preliminary talk. This is an ongoing thing that I keep mentioning. I have this concept that most large organizations have copied the organizational structure of the military to be able to compete on an open market. Okay, so they have this mentality: more soldiers is better, more hardware is better, more divisions is better, right? And what they use to manage this large organizations is classical functional line organizations. Okay, very similar to the military. So if something is of essence to the military, you create a branch or division for it, right?
Right.
What would be examples in the Navy for different divisions that you have? Although the Navy itself is a big division, right? It has its naval mission. But what are some other branches of the Navy that kind of are indicative of this segmentation?
Well, I'd say pretty much anywhere in the Navy that's not considered special operations.
Yeah.
So EOD, explosive ordnance disposal, surface warfare, combatant crewmen, those are our boat guys. NSW, naval special warfare, that's the SEAL teams. Yeah. Those are all considered special operations. So those are a very small part, about 1% of the overall Navy structure. The vast majority of the Navy, Mark, is, built around the model of like a carrier battle group.
Yeah.
And, that's the more traditional, what we would consider conventional military model, very hierarchy based.
So we're talking about two different cultures, and I had written you some of my comments, and you'd actually written a question in here, which I thought was great. I wrote one of the questions I wrote, special ops, that if we were going to put it into a project context, the Navy itself is kind of like a large corporation.
Right.
that has that culture, that standard operating procedures, command obey, hurry up and wait, all those different principles, right? Don't step on your commanding officer's toes. There's a certain decorum of how you interact with one another. A command is a command. And special ops have a culture and nature of themselves to be able to facilitate the benefits that they're supposed to do. And I often say, if we were going to compare, project management teams are like, and not because I'm trying to do any steal any valor from anybody, but in the very nature of their orientation of their culture, project teams are very much like special ops teams. Okay. Although I think special ops teams get more respect than project management teams often do. We're often the unwanted stepchildren of the organization. And I want to hear whether you guys, I don't think SEAL teams are, but maybe some of the other special ops sometimes are treated like stepchildren as well. But before we get into all this wonderful discussion about what are the similarities and what lessons learned can we get from your background. And by the way, I also want to point out, we're going to talk a little bit about your professional background. You're a senior manager at a large organization as well, right? Katsu?
Yeah, but I would say it's actually a very small organization covering a lot of ground. But yeah, we can get into that.
Okay, so we'll talk about that as well.